The Browns' #1 pick, Baker Mayfield, plays for the Browns. They got blown out by the Steelers on Sunday. I think it was like 38-7, right?
38-7.
38-7. Are you buying or selling the Browns as a threat? Not a Super Bowl contender, just a threat. Which means a playoff win, maybe 2. That's about it.
I want to buy Brown stock so bad. But every time I stake a claim to them, they embarrass me. And I picked them last week on our pick.
You picked the Browns?
I picked the Browns over the Steelers last week.
Who did I pick?
And I'm pretty sure you had the same reaction.
I was here. I wasn't?
No.
We didn't just do a show. Oh, right. Okay.
When you were in Florida.
Yeah. Yo, don't be saying that out loud, man. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I would have picked the Steelers, though. Damn.
I just feel like every time we think they're headed in the right direction, they come out and they lay an egg like that. Granted, the Steelers are proving themselves to be a legit contender.
I think the Steelers are elite. I definitely think they're elite. I think they're elite.
They also didn't just lose to the Steelers, like they got embarrassed. 38-7, and Baker, listen, you could say he was banged up. They were trying to make sure that he was healthy. He got benched in the second half. That cold,
but
cold
the game
hard
was
truth.
over.
Big Ben.
The game was over, but that's also not a great sign of trust in your third-year quarterback.
I don't know. Kyle Shanahan did that last week with Jimmy G.
Big Ben is 24-2 against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns have sucked throughout his whole tenure in the league.
You know,
this is the first year they actually started, I think, 3-0 or 4-1.
3-1. It was 3-1.
3-1. Yeah, that's the first time they went on 3-game.
I think the Browns will still get in the playoffs. Will they win a game? It always comes down to who they're going to play. I do like the Steelers, though. I think they're going to be the ones to win the division, and I feel like this game was just the Steelers just proving that they're the superior team. You know, their front seven dominated throughout the game, and we're starting to see that receiving core come into form. Chase Claypool, you got Juju, you got Deontay, what's the dude name? Johnson?
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, so you see this team starting to come into form, and we saw a glimpse of this last year. The team was good, but they just didn't have a quarterback, and they still proved to be formidable and almost making the playoffs, and now Big Ben is showing that he still can play at a good level. Now they have a quarterback, their defense is here, and now they're just showing what they would have shown last year, that they're still a really, really good team. And Cleveland is still young, has room to grow, and I think they'll still get in the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win a game. It just comes down to matchups, but I still think they'll get in, though.
With me, I think the Browns, this wasn't a testament to how good that they can be. It was just a bad game, and it happens sometimes. They were out Wyatt Teller, the best offensive guard probably in the league. He's their best offensive lineman this year. They were out from him. Carl Joseph was out. Ronnie Harrison was out. Both of them, they're both safeties who've been really good this year. But also, people are forgetting that this is Kevin Stefanski's first year with the Browns, and this is Baker's first year with this offense. I hate people that say,
"Oh wow!"
I hate people that say Baker Mayfield has digressed. He's not developing. How do you expect him to
like
develop?
His third head coach.
Yeah.
You had Hugh Jackson, then they went to Freddie Kitchens later on. Or no, they went to Greg Williams later on in the year. They signed Freddie Kitchens.
Technically his fourth head coach.
They signed Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens was the coach for 1 year. He was horrible. He didn't develop Baker at all in his second year. To me, this year is basically Baker's second year that he's had a chance at an actual functional organization. His rookie year, his rookie year, they were amazing. Yeah, they're 4-2, but Baker hasn't played well. Like I don't think he's played well.
But he hasn't played well, and they're still 4-2. So if he
Yeah.
gets it going, then they can still. And credit to he played a really great
2 out of
defense.
the 5 games. 2 out of the 5 games they've played, Baker has had no turnovers. 3 of the games, like 3 of the 5 games they played, he's had a turnover. And I think against the Colts, he had 2 picks. And yesterday he had 2 picks. So he hasn't been playing well, but I think that's more of a bright side for the Browns than it is a downside. Because Baker Mayfield has a potential to play well, and it's their first year in the offense. Their next 4 games are going to be pretty tough, though, because you got the Bengals, which I don't think that's a cakewalk. They'll win that, but I don't think it's a cakewalk. They have the Raiders, which is hard. The Texans are going to always play well.
Especially without Bill O'Brien.
But even with Bill, Texans are one of those teams that always have a chance if it's not against an elite team.
Right.
Like if it's not against one of the Chiefs or the Ravens, they're always going to be in the game. The Eagles, the Jaguars, and the Titans.
That's no cakewalk. Philly.
Yeah, the only easy games they have left all season are Jacksonville and then the 2 New York teams. But then they also have Baltimore again to end the season. Pittsburgh again to end the season. They have Baltimore. They have, like you just mentioned, that whole stretch with Philly, Houston, Las Vegas, Cincinnati. Like none of those games are going to be easy games. So I agree with you. Like I'm not at all giving up on Baker Mayfield yet. I just think it's going to be a very tough time for them to get into the playoffs this year because I think that the Steelers and Ravens are 2 of the best teams in the league, and they're in the same division. And then beyond, so that's going to take up a wild card spot.
What, 7?
One of those teams is going to get
in now.
Yeah, one of those 2 teams is going to get a wild card spot. And then you look around the league, it's starting to look like the AFC South might produce a wild card spot with the Titans and the Colts.
That's 3 wild cards.
I think the last wild card spot will be between the Raiders, Colts, and Browns.
That's what it's looking like.
One of those matchups. I think the Browns.
I had Browns, Colts, Ravens running the last 3 spots.
Do you think the Patriots or Dolphins could make a late run at it? Just strictly speaking, divisionally,
Patriots, I think, can.
I have a question for you 2 young fellas. Because we were talking about on Friday how the Titans, you guys thought they were the second best team in the league. Do you think the Steelers in the AFC? Do you think the Steelers could possibly be in that conversation now that we see them play the Browns?
I think there's no doubt they're in the conversation.
Haven't played anybody good. They probably played Titans played the Bills. That was their first test.
I actually think the Steelers are the second best team in the AFC.
Steelers?
Well, I think undoubtedly the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC.
That wasn't even the question.
So that's number 1.
I would say those 3 teams are the top 3 right now.
You kind of have like a 3-dog race or a 4-dog race really for the 2 spot.
And they play soon too.
I would say 3. The Titans, the Steelers, and the Ravens you can make the case for. The Bills have an outside shot, but 2 weeks in a row now, the Bills have played a legit team and have not looked good.
That same team, the Chiefs, they played the Chiefs well. It was a good game. The Chiefs dominated the Ravens on Monday night.
Yeah.
Dominated them.
The Ravens have always had problems with the Chiefs, though. I'm not holding that against the Ravens.
With me, I feel like the Browns, when they face the Steelers and the Ravens again, is when I'll make a better guess about them.
Steelers
because we've seen it. Too. We've seen it. The Jets, back when they were good, when we got blown out by the Patriots, and then in the playoffs we beat them. I think it's all about.
Talking about 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's all about matchups and schematics to me.
Exactly.
So Kevin Stefanski, this is his first time seeing their scheme. He's probably going to adjust next game, and that's what I want to look forward to. It's just one game for me.
Yeah, and I think that just speaking on the number 2 team in the AFC, I think the Titans will look maybe the strongest in the AFC to finish the season because their division, I think, is the weakest, except maybe the Bills, and I think that the Bills have set themselves back with their last 2 losses. But speaking on the Browns, I think that they can be a playoff team this year. I don't know if they'll be a real contender just because, like you mentioned, Stefanski's first year, Baker's first year with him. And the biggest thing that concerns me with the Browns, especially after a tough loss to the Steelers, they have an explosive situation there. A lot of egos with, Odell, Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, and you've seen problems there before. And I feel like every week we're talking about a new, is Odell Beckham going to want to trade? I'm not in the locker room. I can't say how much of an issue that is, but it can be a problem moving forward if they have more tough losses like this. And I know there was talk about Odell not being happy with his targets on Sunday.
Steelers' next 6 is Titans, Ravens, Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars, and then Ravens again. So I think these next 3 games will really tell us what the Steelers are really about. That Titans game, I think, is going to be really interesting. Both teams undefeated. So we're going to really see what the Steelers are and how they're going to compete against the Titans and the Ravens.
But to answer the question, am I buying or selling the stock on the Browns, I've already was holding it, and I'm going to still hold it. I'm not buying it. I'm not going to buy more of it. I'm not going to sit here and praise the Browns. I'm not going to sit here and bash them either. I'm kind of mutual.
I've been a believer on the Browns. Like, I think that even if it's not this year, they can be a really good team with this core. But like you said, I'm not getting any more overly excited for them. But but I'm also not going to stop believing in them. I definitely think that they can. Like, I don't think the nail is in the coffin on them this year just because they lost one game to the Steelers. I still think they could finish strong here, but I think that, I feel like we say this about every team, but these next few weeks are really going to tell us a lot about who they are as a team and Stefanski as a coach. Is he going to be able to right the ship after a tough loss? I think that that's such an important thing for a young head coach to overcome.
And I agree with Joel. I'm not buying anymore. I'm not going to say I'm neutral right now. I still think they're going to make the wild card.
If I had to say one or the other, I would probably sell, though, on this season. For the rest of this year, if I had to go one way or the other, I would sell just because there are more ingredients that tell me things would go wrong than to tell me they would go right. That doesn't mean that I don't believe they can turn it around.
The Browns' ceiling to me is winning one playoff game, depending on the matchup. I think if they face the Bills, they can beat
win.
them.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's a knock on the Browns
or the Raiders are one of those teams.
As much as it's to say that the AFC has been really good this year. And, 5 out of the 7 teams that make the playoffs in the AFC are going to be legitimate title contenders. It's just that all of them are going to have to go through the Chiefs, who I think we all agree are the best team in
If
the
the
league.
Browns have to face the Chiefs,
It's over.
The Steelers or Ravens, I think they lose. But I think they match up well with the Titans. They match up well with the Bills and any other team that is fighting for a wild card spot in the AFC. I think they match up well with all of them.
I agree.